Hi there, I'm Mike Gamble from Epic Games and we're here at the Make Something Unreal Live competition at the Gadget show live. This is the culmination of a competition run by ourselves, Epic, and Train2Game over 6 months, where teams of 10 students create games based on the Fighting Fantasy IP. We're here, we have 6 days left to go before they present to Ian Livingston and Steve Jackson to choose the winner, and the winners receive an iOS license from Epic Games.
For the last 6 months we've been developing the game, Citadel of Chaos Dire Consequences, and we're in the final week now of development and it should be released on the Sunday.
Just from earlier on, when we were talking earlier on, you had a slightly different UI at the top. Is that something you've been changing today, or was this a later build?
We are playing around with the UI. Before, our health bar and our soul counter was slightly slanted to give a very 3D effect to the heads-up display. Now we're experimenting today and tomorrow to see which one will have the nicest feel, because what we're really trying to do, we want to make this for both iPad and iPhone. And although iPad is fine to have like a normal game screen, iPhone's quite a small device, there's not much screen space, so we're doing our best to try and not come across too much into the combat and give you as much view of the environment and the battle as possible.
I've just got a quickie question. I'm sure the audience have been looking at all the graphics they've seen around us. Amazing, so great job so far. A question we have to ask you is, what have you guys been using? Is this something we have to spend a lot of money on, or is this something we could just do at home or kick off at home?
Well, that's a really good question. To be fair, anyone who has a modern day computer bought in the last 2 years will be capable of making a game of this quality. A lot of the software we've used is very readily available and free to download. UDK itself you can download, you get the full set of features, nothing held back. The only thing you have to really deal with paying is if you want to deal with commercial release. But if you want to practice and try it out, it's completely free, you get the full package. I believe Autodesk, if you're a student, you can download their entire repertoire of software across a whole manner of disciplines from architecture to game design. And you can download the full versions completely free if you're a student, which is a fantastic thing that they've done.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting. Working at Gadget Show Live has been a great experience so far. We're on day 2. Yesterday was basically a setup and a couple of presentations here and there. And today now we're bang on full development and we're getting so much done now we're all together.
So first and foremost, I think the fact that your headspace in regards to the game length is very much smart and in line with how people play iOS games. The fact that first and foremost you made it a wave-based mode is really, really smart, as opposed to an endless Geometry Wars type of grind. I think that's really, really smart. 3 to 5 minutes, obviously you get the time period. It's the proverbial bus ride that we all talk about, and that's really, really good.
When I used to play these books when I was younger, the biggest fear was the decision of which of the 3 or 4 pages you were going to turn to. You know, you knew you could make a mistake. Do you go in for the battle? Do you run away? Do you go through the right door or the left door? How are you going to recreate that sense of key decision-making fear that these books were all about?
When we first looked at the books and thought about we need to make a game for this, our initial reaction to how are we going to replicate exactly that type of feeling was say, okay, well, if we give them action decisions or conversational decisions, it will be very similar to the book. But then we thought we'd just be recreating what's already in the book. If you want to have that specific experience, you should definitely buy the books, because they're still very relevant, they're still very entertaining today. But we thought that is one of the things that fans love about the series. So instead of replicating it identically, we thought we'd try to transfer it to the gameplay.
Hi guys, great to see the passion, lovely to see the demo. You talked a lot about character development, and one of the issues with first-person games is people who are playing the game can't see their character whilst they're playing the game. And it is really important to casual players especially to see their character developing and moving forward. So how do you think you'll address that problem?
It's a very good question. To be fair, with first-person games, there are very few opportunities outside of cutscenes where you get to see the player you're controlling. What we thought we would do with this issue is we would make the spells make you feel look really powerful, in that sense that they'd be very useful and give you a lot more options in the way you play. If you have a heal spell, you'll feel like someone who can heal. You feel like somebody who can just run into combat head first, not think about the dangers, because you've got that backup of your heal spell. So instead of actually seeing visually your choices, you'll be able to feel them in the way that you play.
Okay, I've got a question about the saving game, playing on the bus stuff. If you're in the middle of a battle, can you save at any point in that battle? How does the save game procedure work? And how does that impact on the bites of gameplay you were talking about?
What we're going to try to do is when you close most apps such as Angry Birds or any of the games that you might play on your mobile devices, it just pauses action right there. By implementing a pause screen, we're going to make it so that if anything else happens along your mobile device, that pause screen will automatically happen. So a pause right there and then, and you can pick up where you left off. You won't have to feel that need that I've got to complete this wave to catch before the bus comes. If something happens to you that you need to react to in your life, then you can just close it and carry on when you've got another spare moment.
Well, I mean, you've done a really good job of making a first-person combat game. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you can see there's going to be some great artwork here. There's a little bit of work to do on the lighting, a little bit of work to do on the animation. The first thing I'd say to you is, I think this level I've got a bit of a problem with. The layout of the level, yeah, I can see why you would do it to test the game. When you're doing a demo like this to people, there's always a golden rule I have when I do demos. There's going to be some story to your demo. There's going to be a start, a middle, and an end. The trouble is with the open nature of this is, you know, if I'm in the audience, I think, well, this is just going on forever. So I would try and constrict this level into a bit more of a flow. So you start, go around a corner, and you as the demoer can say, oh, look, there's this creature from this book. I like when you said we're at this point in the story. I thought that was brilliant. I was, you know, saying it when you're in here would be really good as well. A little bit confused about there seems to be a lot of runes and magic. I'm not quite clear in my own mind what that means. I loved when I saw level up, but you should have told me what I got. Don't just say level 2. That means there's no difference. Show me and celebrate what I have just achieved as a player. Because going up a level is a big thing. And remember that, and I picked up your book, remember these books were all about leveling up and finding stuff and getting your stats right. And you know, the back of this book there was the character sheet, you know. Don't be ashamed of that. A lot of people love that character sheet, and that leveling up can really reinforce that. But it's definitely a good step.
I'm nervous, but at the same time I'm confident and excited. At the end of it, I don't think anyone's going to be a loser at all. Everyone's a winner.
I'd say first of all, sort of the game looks great. It's fantastic, and it's good that some of the improvements from this morning did make it into here. For example, the waves. You sort of tell people when they know the next wave's coming through, and also the logo, which I sort of picked on. You've now put the black background so you can actually read the text. So that's fantastic. I think it still needs to tweak the text, but obviously that's a quick fix. That's brilliant. Actually, slight criticism about the presentation. Actually, maybe dial back a little bit on the lore and try and show the game a little bit sooner. And that also applies maybe to the actual how you present the game itself. So, for example, if you're doing a trailer, you don't really want to put a lot of the lore stuff first, because you've really, people here are here, I imagine, because it's fighting fantasy, right? And that's instantly attractive. So you've already got them captured. Now you want to show them what the game is straight away. So the fact that it is an arena-based first-person sort of action game is an attractive aspect, and you need to deliver that as soon as possible. So obviously use the lore to your advantage, put it in a trailer, sort of explain it in a presentation, but sort of bring the gameplay through a little bit sooner, I'd say. I really like the look of the game. The combat especially looks quite attractive because it's quite simple. I think a lot of the other games get sort of caught up with the dice roll, and all that. Whereas it's kind of almost like Skyrim. It's very sort of simple, straightforward, sort of swiping away. I think that's fantastic, and it works well for a mobile device. In terms of on-screen controls, I would experiment maybe just again, I said to another team, get it as many people's hands as possible, see how they respond to it, because like some members in your team might be okay with it, other people might not, especially those who aren't familiar with games or first-person perspective. So really just push that in people's hands. And another thing is that when you're playing, I think the view looks a bit too obscured by the sword. I think maybe, and especially because it's in your center field of view, that's the view you want to sort of look at monsters. So maybe sort of make the sword and shield do
Just widen the grip.
a little bit, yeah, sort of widen away to the edge of the screen where the monsters won't be. And I don't know how much work that would entail, but hopefully that could be done fairly easily. And that's about it. And the game, apart from that, looks really great. I think, as I said earlier, sort of this sort of arena-based pick-up-and-play game works really well for mobile platforms, especially this sort of wave-based type sort of game. So, you know, it's definitely a right fit for the platform, and it looks great. So, well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Feeling pretty nervous right now. Also excited, but very nervous, as it's the final 2 days now of Gadget Show Live. Some very positive criticism. It has been quite brutal sometimes, but it's been worth taking on board. So, especially from John Hare, he shows no mercy.
Our game, Citadel of Chaos, Dire Consequences, puts the player into the first-person perspective, arms him with sword and magic, as he faces a horde of enemy waves. Now, when we thought about making this game from the very beginning, there were two key factors we had to bear in mind. We had to think this is going to be made for iOS mobile devices, and also it has to be in fitting with the Fighting Fantasy license. Now, a very key feature was to take a lot of characters from the book and flesh them out, make them feel our own, but also very representative of what they originally were. The way you'll navigate the screen is via a virtual analog stick in the left bottom hand corner. This is how you move. If you want to change your view, all you need to do is just take a little swipe anywhere on the screen. There are no buttons. Here you can clearly see an attack button, which can string together multiple variety of combos. Your defense button there can raise your shield and defend you temporarily from oncoming attacks.
I was actually here on Tuesday and saw what these guys had done originally. And can I just say, in 6 days, all of the teams have achieved something absolutely fantastic that some of these other guys in the professional studios, if you're listening, probably take about 18 months to do. So I really think they deserve a huge applause at the end of all of this.
The winner today is Commando Kiwi. Step forward. Well done, everybody else, and do not lose heart. Ultimately, you could be the winning game. But today, Commando Kiwi was the winner.
It was a really hard decision because the 4 groups who had already passed through several barriers and mini competitions on the way here, they were all very talented, and the standard of games that came out were unbelievable. I mean, it would have been very easy to pick 4 winners out of the 4 of them.